Hello everyone, and welcome to Live 1,000 Years. I'm your host and author, attorney Brent Jordan. Today we're going to be summarizing a book called Happier by the Harvard professor Tal Ben-Shahar. I like to summarize books that contribute to my book that I wrote that influenced me and inspired me. We're going to do this in three parts. Part one is, what is happiness? Professor Ben-Shahar was obsessed with how can a person be successful and happy in their life. In part one of his book, What is Happiness?, he talks about happiness being a lifelong pursuit, that no person experiences happiness all the time. So rather than ask the question, am I happy? We should ask, how can I be happier? This question demonstrates that happiness is a continuing, ongoing process for the rest of our life. Therefore, happiness does not require us to be in a constant state of ecstasy. While people experience highs and lows in life, their overall state of being can be positive, meaningful, and happy. Professor Ben-Shahar defines happiness as the overall experience of pleasure and meaning in our life. By pleasure, he says, it's the experience of having positive emotions, of benefits here and now. By way of meaning, he says it's the experience of having a sense of purpose, of benefits in the future. When we have a present feeling of pleasure and contentment, along with a higher purpose, a meaning in life, we can obtain our full potential for happiness. He writes that goals, meaning how can I be happy today and the future, should be our goals in life. The answer to that is to make decisions and take actions that make you happy today and which also bring you happiness in your future. The example he uses is the hamburger model. I like to apply this in my book as well. He gives us three hamburgers: a bacon and cheese hamburger, a vegetarian burger, and a salmon burger. With a bacon and cheese burger, we're happy in the present. We find the burger delicious. It satisfies our hunger. It makes our stomach full. We're happy. But in the future, the burger can cause us unhappiness. It can cause us major health problems such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, even possibly cancer. The second example he uses is the vegetarian burger. In the present moment, the burger is boring, tasteless. It doesn't give us any pleasure in the present. But in the future, it gives us a health benefit. It avoids all the problems associated with the bacon and cheese hamburger. Finally, he speaks about a salmon burger, where in the present moment, it gives us pleasure. It's absolutely delicious. It satisfies our hunger. It fills our stomach. And also in the future, it's very satisfying. It creates a good health benefit. It has none of the problems associated with the bacon and cheeseburger. Professor Ben-Shahar goes on to give an analogy of these hamburgers to people in life. The bacon and cheeseburger, where it gives us present happiness but not future happiness, is similar to the individual in life who's a party animal, a person who lives for today, who's hedonistic, that has pleasure in the moment, in the present, but never saves for the future. And when the future comes around, when he or she retires, she's in major problems because of the lack of money. Now, the vegetarian burgers, the person that we associate with the rat race, someone who works incredibly hard, long hours, is totally miserable and unhappy in the moment, but saves huge amounts of money so that when the person retires someday, they'll be happy, they'll be satisfied, they'll be able to have freedom and security and to do what they want in life. He speaks about how 85% of Americans fit this rat race model, that they hate their jobs, that they're miserable, but they continue in them because the money is so satisfying and the ability to save for the future. The final burger, the salmon burger, is basically the happiness burger. This is the person who works in the moment, enjoys his or her life, spends some money on pleasure, on leisure, vacations, and also saves for the future so that when retirement rolls around, he or she is safe and secure and has a lot of personal freedom. Professor Ben-Shahar speaks of the means and the ends. He says that happiness is the highest goal in the hierarchy of goals. It's the ultimate end. And that all other goals in our life are simply means to the end, which is happiness. For example, money and power and fame are just means to the end, which is happiness. That money in itself is worthless. It's just a piece of paper. It's the actual means to the end, which would be buying a home or taking a vacation or living a life of freedom. He points out that there's a low correlation between money and happiness in our world, except for in cases of extreme poverty. For example, the saying is, money doesn't make me happy, but the lack of it makes me totally miserable. He goes on to say that once our basic needs are met, such as shelter, food, and clothes, and education, there's not much difference between people with respect to their happiness. Thus, it's not money per se that makes us happy, but how money makes us feel and what we can do with the money. Money makes us feel safe and secure in the present and for our future. And money can help us live a life of personal freedom along with more positive experiences. The professor concludes by recommending that we set goals for our life as far as happiness. First, he asks you to envision your ideal week. Decide exactly what you want in your life to feel happy in the present moment and in the future. In other words, what gives you positive emotions today while at the same time makes you feel a sense of higher purpose about your future? Then he says to act as though it's already there, that it exists already, that this envision that you have of the future is already your reality. Finally, he says to take daily actions to achieve your goals of happiness until your actions become lifelong rituals and habits. That concludes the first part of his book, Happier. Please turn to my next video for the second part of his book.